Illinoisians are currently paying respects to former Governor Jim Edgar as his body lies in state today. Visitors are able to pay their respects and sign a memorial book at the state capitol building in Springfield until about 7 this evening. His funeral will be tomorrow at 11 in the morning at Central Baptist Church in Springfield. The Republicans served during the 1990s when the GOP controlled state government. Prior to being elected governor, Edgar served as Secretary of State for 10 years from 1981 to 1991. In retirement, Edgar founded the Edgar Fellows program, teaching leadership and governing skills, specifically how to address major policy issues in a bipartisan way.